¿Qué pasó, pinche perro? It's your homeboy Quetzalcoatl, and yes, up with another video. Now, today's video is actually a request from a longtime subscriber. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the upcoming fight between Shawn Porter and Keith one-time Thurman. I got real hype when I first heard that this fight was being made. And while I am a bit disappointed that the fight has been postponed due to Keith Thurman being involved in a car accident, I'm still waiting for this fight to go down nonetheless. Because, I mean, to me, it's a potential fight of the year, at least on paper. And I'm pretty sure that the rest of the YTBC, when they first heard that this fight was being made, I'm pretty sure they got hype as well. Because there's really no reason that you can hate on this fight. There is no way that you cannot like this fight going down. You got two top welterweights in their prime, willing to take a risk and fight each other, which in this era is something that you really don't see a lot. So props to both fighters for taking that risk. Now, on the one hand, you have Keith one-time Thurman, who's 26-0 with 22 knockouts. He's coming off of a stoppage victory over Luis Collazo. And before that, he had a unanimous decision victory over Robert Guerrero, where he put a beating on Robert Guerrero and even dropped his ass late in that fight. He's a very well-versed technical fighter who can outbox you, but at the same time has power, which is why they call him Keith one-time Thurman. And he's had some very nice highlights, as you saw with Jesus Soto Caras. Did his ass dirty, put a beat down on him. And on the other hand, you have Shawn Showtime Porter, who's 26-1-1 with 16 KOs. Now he's coming off of putting a beating on Adrian the Bum Broner. And before that, he had a stoppage victory over Eric Bone. Now Shawn Porter, on the other hand, while he can box, he's mostly a very aggressive fighter who likes to fight on the inside. He isn't afraid to get his hands dirty and, do some Bernard Hopkins, Abner Mares, or Andre Ward type tactics up in there. And it's going to be very interesting to see which style prevails in this fight, who can fight at their pace and who can make it their fight. And I'm still going back and forth as to who I have winning this fight, because both fighters have the types of strengths and weaknesses that make this an even match and a tough pick for me to make right now. I mean, let's take Keith Thurman, for example. As I've said, he's undefeated. He's got big time power. He's a very good technical boxer. Although in his last fight versus Luis Collazo, we've seen that he is vulnerable, as Luis Collazo was able to hurt him to the body badly. And for a minute there, it looked like Keith Thurman was in big trouble. Now, to Keith Thurman's credit, he was able to recover and ended up getting the victory. But you have to wonder if someone with the inside game that Shawn Porter possesses, would Keith Thurman be able to overcome that if Shawn Porter was able to hurt him in a fight? And with Shawn Porter, who's a very aggressive boxer and is usually in exciting fights, we've seen that he's had solid victories over Paulie Malignaggi, where he just beat the shit out of Malignaggi. He beat Adrian the Gatekeeper Broner, Ja Rule Broner. And he had a victory over Devin Alexander when Devin Alexander was still relevant and not on the downslide that he's on right now. But with Shawn Porter, we've seen that he's had trouble with the likes of Julio Diaz, who he had draw with. And most recently, he lost a decision to Kell Brook, where Kell Brook was able to control Shawn Porter's aggressiveness with his power and was able to outbox him. And I can see Keith Thurman doing the same thing to Shawn Porter. I can see Keith Thurman using his power to control Shawn Porter's aggressiveness and make him respect his power, and then outboxing him. But if I were to pick someone right now, I'm probably leaning towards Porter more. Although that's not my final prediction. I'll be making a video later on. But right now I am leaning more towards Shawn Porter winning this fight. I think that his aggressiveness is going to be key to this fight. And if he hurts Keith Thurman, I think he finishes him. Or I think that he takes control of the fight after that. But we'll see how that goes down. But that's my thoughts right now. But what everybody is wondering is what happened with the delay in this fight. Did Keith Thurman really get in a car accident? And as in my previous videos with Broner and Maidana, I got down to the truth through investigation, and I found out what really happened. My team of investigators were able to use all their resources and found out that Keith Thurman was indeed in a car accident and was hurt badly in that accident. Although there is more to the story, and the story takes a bizarre turn. On the day of the accident, Keith Thurman was on his way back from the Weed Man, where he bought an eighth of Kush, and was driving home getting ready to roll up a blunt. Now, unbeknownst to him, at the same time, Bruce Jenner and Tony Stewart were participating in an illegal underground street race. And you know, when these two motherfuckers get behind the wheel, somebody's gonna die. And interestingly enough, the investigative team was able to find out something about Bruce Jenner and Tony Stewart that, while not relevant to Keith Thurman, is actually very interesting. A lot of people say that Paul Walker was killed by the Illuminati. That is somewhat true. Paul Walker knew about the gay Illuminati alien robot agenda that's in Hollywood right now, and he was getting ready to expose them. Bruce Jenner and Tony Stewart are part of that agenda, the same agenda I spoke about in previous vids. The day Paul Walker was killed, he was rolling home after doing some kind of charity thing. Bruce Jenner and Tony Stewart were hired as assassins. Rolled up behind his ass, and Tony Stewart clipped him in the back of his car. Paul Walker lost control, crashed, and his car burned, and he died. And Caitlyn Jenner, cold motherfucker. Caitlyn Jenner pulled up to the car, and as Paul Walker laid in the car right there, the car was on fire. Caitlyn Jenner did some Drago shit, looked at the car and said, "If he dies, he dies," and just drove off. With Keith Thurman, Tony Stewart, Bruce Jenner was doing some Fast and the Furious shit on the freeway, swerving everywhere. And like when Bruce Jenner lost control and hit that lady in the back, he did the same thing, ended up clipping the side of Keith Thurman's car. Keith Thurman lost control himself. The car started swerving. Then the shit started flipping. And when the car finally came to a stop, it was all fucked up. Bruce Jenner, Tony Stewart looked at it and just drove off. Continued the race. We weren't able to find out who won though. But somebody saw the accident, called the ambulance. Firefighters showed up. And the car was so damaged, they couldn't get Keith Thurman out, even with the jaws of life. Luckily for Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter was actually in the vicinity. And as we all know, Shawn Porter got them big ass motherfucking hippo teeth. He was able to use them big ass chompers to bite the door off and save Keith Thurman. So props to Shawn Porter for that, because you ain't even heard him bragging on the news about being a hero, and he is. But that's what happened. And Keith Thurman right now is in recovery. You know, I think he got like a collapsed lung or something like that. I'm not really sure. But hopefully the fight can go down. Hopefully somebody catches Tony Stewart and Bruce Jenner for what they did to Paul Walker. And if you like this shit, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. This is your homeboy Quetzalcoatl, signing the fuck on out.